matches the dress. And
I think
covers me up more.
Yeah. No, I think you're fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Say, this kind of odd, offbeat thing for you to be doing, isn't it? Not being here, but I mean being in a roller film.
Yes, it is, and it's pretty scary too. I did this film called Kansas City Bomber, and I really had to learn how to skate from scratch. I hadn't skated since I was about 9-10 years old, and so I had to really start all over again. And the professional skaters skate on a track that has banked turns or a 45-degree angle. And one day when I was out skating, I broke my wrist, so that was nice, and we had to postpone the film about 8 weeks. And then
broke your wrist?
Yeah, both the bones in this wrist here, and I wore kind of a brace on it while I was skating, because so that I wouldn't break it again. Because had I, then the film would have had to close down. It was pretty rough, but I must say all the girls that skated with me from the roller games were really helpful. They were so kind and nice to me. I got so frightened a lot of times that they had to take me like one on each side and skate around the actual track with me and just sort of jive me and jive a little joke and get me loosened up again. I could use them right now, maybe.
Well, let's go.
Okay, good.
I don't have my skates, but I'll certainly go around the track with you. Wait a minute. My socks came down when I said that. See that? They just rolled right down. I don't know. It must be the electricity in the air. So you're a female jock in the movie.
That's right, yeah. Exactly, that's true.
It's quite the footage I saw does look quite exciting.
It's not a really very glamorous film at all, but I think it's very exciting, and it's interesting to see a woman in that particular kind of a lifestyle. I mean, they choose to do this, and their identity is there. They do it very well. And of course, a lot of people think of roller games as kind of a carnival thing, rather than a pure competitive sport. And it is very much that, but their athletic ability is really terrific. They're incredible.
Usually big women,
No, surprisingly, a lot of them are shorter than I am. I know most people think I'm an Amazon, but I'm only 5'6" in my stocking feet, and a lot of them were shorter than I was, and some of them even more slight. Of course, there are a few that are heavier.
What about Tuffy Brashoon? Is she still around? Do you remember way back Tuffy
I know about her, but
the queen of...
She is, yeah.
She was big. She was built like...
She skates for the roller derby.
Person. Built like a big person.
Yeah.
I thought maybe she'd retired and gone into coaching or something like that.
Well, some of them do, but I think she's still around. I don't know her personally. She wasn't in the film. The stunt double who helped me do some of my skating was Judy Arnold, who skates on the Philadelphia team, Philadelphia Warriors or something like that. And she was really pretty fantastic. I had to go through all my scenes and take all my falls and rack myself up, and then she would do it all again, and then they cut together the best of the footage to make the action really work.
So some of the falling's you, some's her?
Well, almost all the falling is mine, and some of it's her too.
Is it
yeah.
she or is it some is her, some is she,
No.
some is the other girl? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not noted for my great literacy, so I won't comment.
You're not?
I don't think so. I mean, if I told you that I was very literate, would your socks fall down your legs?
But you're not known for being a bubblehead either.
Well, maybe not.
Or a featherhead, or whatever the current phrase is. No, you're not one of those empty-headed dumb chicks that they always used to think movie actresses were.
Well, I think you might get a little argument on that from somebody.
Well, certain guys, but I can handle them.
I had a really interesting press conference when I first came into town to promote the film with all the sports writers. And they said, gee, you're a nice-sized lady and all that, but you're not exactly what I expected. And I said, I know, I always seem to disappoint people if I walk in the door, and the door hinges don't splinter off, that type of thing. They really expect me to, come in with a machete or something. I guess I must be pretty intimidating. I always say it's because my shoulders are very broad that I photograph them.
You're right, they are, and... There is something that a photographer could explain about something that your features do with the camera. And I don't know what it is, but they're accentuated some way. The bones in your face, are somehow accentuated. So that I was at a place where you were the other night. We won't say where it was because we weren't supposed to be there. But no.
Oh.
But no, I'm just kidding. But as people walked in and they looked at you, and the reaction was, "There's an attractive woman," but a number of them did not know it was was you, and they'd seen you on the screen, but there's something happens between you and the camera that's, I don't mean you're a big disappointment in person. That's what I'm saying at all. You know that.
Well,
and now, a word about a great tasting coffee, pre-measured and packed in its own filter. New Max Packs from General Foods. If you just joined us, one of us is Raquel Welch. Well, we have a clip from the film, and you talked a bit about it before. And if they just joined us, you told about how you had to get into good physical condition for the movie.
Well, I had to learn how to skate and all of that.
Seems sort of odd. Is there a trick to falling?
Yeah, there is.
They do that one sensational fall where both their legs go up in the air and they land on their back when you watch roller derby.
Well, you're supposed to fall with your hands up. They tell you not to, to put your hands down, and you're supposed to fall right on your tail, and right on your. Really.
I understood tail.
Okay. But you really are that way. You're supposed to fall where you've got that padding. And
you've gotten hard as nails over the years. On the gluteus maximus?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I think we've included everyone. But now, that track is pretty flexible, I expect.
Yes,
it's not that hard to hit, is it?
Well, it's I think it's plywood that's in sections. It goes up, and it does have a give. So if you fall on the track, you're great. When you take a rail, that's another thing. You go over and you hit whatever hard floor is on the outside of the track. And also, the way I broke my wrist is I was in a turn, and I fell backwards and slid right down the bank of the track and hit the infield, which is dead hard. It's just like cement. And my wrist was like this, and I just broke it. It went snap. That was it. It went on. Well, I thought I really had a bad sprain, and I heard it crack, and I was in a lot of pain, but I thought, a lot of times that pain threshold sort of evens off after a while. So I got up and started skating again. Pretty soon my wrist came up, and a great big thing, I had a hematoma here, which is a great big like blood clot thing that forms, and I said, gee, I think I better see a doc, and I really started feeling faint then. So I fell the wrong place. I also got a split lip and a spasm in my trapezius, and no, really, that trapezius right here. Yeah, you have
that's
to. That's this bit right here. And I had to have intramuscular cortisone injections for that. And I racked myself up pretty good. So did the pros, actually. It's a law of averages. If you take that many knocks, pretty soon, like football, even you're gonna get your knocks.
Well, it's like this business we're in. Do they pad the tailbone, the coccyx?
Yes, the girls have different things that they like to use. Actually, about the padding thing, there's a funny kind of slang expression they use. They call the bosom tickets. And if you get a block in the tickets.
The tickets?
Yeah, because that's what they think brings it to the public. So that's their kind of slang. Because
tickets that sell the tickets, in other words.
Exactly. It's a kind of entendre thing, double entendre thing. But it's really more or less I think, one of the interesting things that I found in wanting to do the movie is that the girls really are the focal point, because it's unusual to see women in contact sport, I say loosely, but in that kind of body contact violent situation where you're used to seeing like guys in the football field.
Let's take a look at the film.
Yeah,
it's you, and we're not going to believe it's you.
Yeah, it's me in a match race with. It's been a few months. I had a lot of aches and pains for a long time.
Were you excited when you beat out Helen Hayes for the role?
Yes, as a psyched I was.
That is really something. Gee, what are you going to do next? A ski movie?
No, this is it. I'll never again. I really enjoy doing that. I really did. But my next film, I'm going to go to south of France and do a very much more glamorous film, and I'm kind of glad for the change of pace. I really need it.
It's sure good to see you again. And
Nice to
I know you have to go. You're on a busy tour.
Yes, I am. I'm going to go to Chicago, so I've got to catch a plane.
It's always nice. The carpet is always out. If it isn't, I'll put it out. Come
Thank
again.
you. Thank
Nice
you for
seeing you, Raquel.
inviting me.
Okay, bye. We'll take a station break and we'll be right back.